Yo, I hope I don't mess up the intro. Damn. Hey everyone, my name is Mochi, and today we're doing something a little bit different. Now, I've been talking about this idea for a while. I wanted to do an episode where I just catch up on all the reading that I've skipped, you know? I love an RPG that puts a lot of effort into the logs you can find and the books you can find in the world, and I actually do like reading them all, but I was worried that it would make for bad content during my Divinity Let's Play, so there were a lot of books that I picked up and put in my inventory that I just haven't had a chance to look at yet. So today, all we will be doing is catching up on that reading. So if you're here, maybe put this on in the background, maybe put this on if you need a little bit of help falling asleep. I'm just going to be reading the books and probably speculating a little bit on lore and things like that. Now, I'm doing this now because in my next episode of the playthrough, we will be leaving Cyseal to go adventure towards the west. So I think this is the perfect time to read all of our books, get some crafting recipes, maybe get a little bit more insight into the world. So no further ado, I put all my unread books in Evelyn's backpack. I'm going to start with the ones that look like they're relevant to the main quest. So I can't think of a better place to start than the history of Cyseal. A Brief History of Cyseal by D.R. Gallant. Though Cyseal's borders have shrunk considerably in modern times, ours was once an expansive kingdom of economic and strategic importance in the region of Andevale. Unembroiled in external politics, Cyseal was free to expand from sea to sea and to the borders of the Lusula forest, where legendary and mysterious magics are said to reside. So I like this. I like the idea that there's kind of like old magical areas, and then there's like, you know, human civilization, and that they both exist in this world. Why then did Cyseal fall? Why did Cyseal fall? First, trade. As the old kingdoms grew, Cyseal's ports became less central to trading routes. But most importantly, Cyseal's history of a small and homogeneous population meant that its cultural importance faded as more diverse nations grew. Capitals that featured elvish musicians and dwarvish mead thrived, while Cyseal's trade stagnated. Still, Cyseal is a seat of significant cultural importance, home of the last Source King, and the catacombs of Cyseal are famed for their beauty and their supposed preternatural activity. In recent times, the leaders of Cyseal are seeking to reinvigorate her economy. Fertile farmlands are being utilized at full capacity by the incentivized sale of lands to experienced farmers. Cyseal's future shines bright indeed. You know, moving forward, I think I'm going to read the full book before I start commenting on it, but it's interesting. So Cyseal is the home of the last Source King. Source is something that has become corrupted and banned, and we're hunting sorcerers. So it's kind of interesting. I also like, I didn't know that Cyseal was once a much larger city. Kind of reminds me, maybe a little bit of Britain. Maybe Cyseal will have a Brexit moment. Cool. Why the gods left Rivellon. Now, I think, here's my understanding. Cyseal is the city we're in. The region that we're in is called Andevale. And Rivellon is either the name of the continent or the world. I'm going to guess continent. Why have the gods left Rivellon? Did the gods ever exist, or are they mere boogeymen created by fanatics and priests? Many have sought an answer, but I ask whether discovering the truth is worthwhile. I say that we do not need gods in our daily life, or if these supernatural beings exist, who is to stop them from enslaving us if ever they should deign to return? Now, that is a very human-centric viewpoint on gods, you know? I hear this conversation a lot in terms of like AI, where people are like, oh, I'm so scared of a real generalized intelligence because the first thing it's going to do is enslave humanity. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I think if a creature was truly omniscient, I don't think it would be as petty as we humans are. Like, we're kind of projecting and anthropomorphizing deities by thinking like they would really want to enslave us. No, that's a human thing to do. I think if you had more information than we do, you would realize that that kind of behavior is terrible and doesn't help anyone. This is a very short book. This is The Forgotten Language of Fairy. This heavy tome is inscribed with innumerable strange runes and the translation and histories of each. With it, the careful observer could decipher the most esoteric fairy writings. Maybe we'll find some stuff about that in that forest. Cool. I'm gonna put these back in my inventory to mark that they're red. And let's get on with Patty Cake Volume 3. Hopefully I didn't need to read Volume 1 and 2. Patty Cake. Alright. Dough, the happy child of water and wheat, serves as the base for many a hearty and filling meal. With a lump of dough in one hand and either apples, cheese, fish, or tomato sauce in the other, supper is sure to delight. We have learned how to make apple pie dough. I guess we've also kind of learned how to make cheese dough and fish dough. Cooking is one thing I have not even seen yet, but we do have some food in our inventory with actually effects unknown. So I wonder if I should maybe do a little bit of cooking before we head out on our adventure. The food buffs might be pretty important in this game. Let's get on with the Adventurer's Guide, Volume 3. The Adventurer's Field Guide. Some smiths haven't the faintest idea how to mold a fine metal shield. After I buy one, my first order of business is to find the nearest anvil and hammer the kinks out of it. The shield, I mean, not the anvil. Yes. Improved metal shield. Interesting. So I wonder if that book is trying to tell us that we can take our weapons to an anvil and we can actually upgrade them. I gotta check that out too. Adventurer's Field Guide, Volume 4. Any old kitchen knife can be carved into a deadly dagger after the right amount of time on my anvil. Okay, new recipe, homemade dagger. From any kitchen knife, you say. Interesting. The Adventurer's Field Guide, Volume 5. Now, I'm not a lumberjack, but I can get a good strong stick out of any log with my trusty axe, whether I'm in need of one. Some weird geezers have been asking for the wood chips on the floor after I've chopped up some logs. I just let them. I have no idea what to do with those. Alright. So we got the recipe for wood chips. I have some wood chips, I think, on Jahan. I'm sure they'll be used for something later on. These books are quite short. I should have probably read them when I picked them up, but you know, you live, you learn. Let's read Secrets of the Scroll, Volume 1. Secrets of the Scroll, Special, Dust to Dust. One of the major ingredients the aspiring enchanter and potion mixer should master is bone dust. In this case, success depends on the proper use of tools. A mortar and pestle will always produce a fine-grained bone dust, whereas more rudimentary or aggressive methods of grinding bones and skulls will leave you with a pile of useless splinters. Invest in a mortar and pestle before considering a cheap alternative. Pile after pile of fine and efficient bone dust will be your reward for this small investment. Now we have both a mortar and pestle, and some bones, so we could definitely do that with Jahan right away. But let's read Secrets of the Scroll Volume 2. Maybe that will enlighten us on what to do with this bone dust. Secrets of the Scroll, Special, Dust to Dust. Pixie dust is to enchanting as kindling is to fire. One is the basis of the other, but never fear. You needn't go pixie hunting and pixie crushing unless you've scads of spare time and an iron stomach. No. First we begin with stardust. Fortunately, you needn't carve and crush a chunk from a constellation, unless again you've got the time and stomach. The Stardust herb is relatively common and simple to crush to a fine powder. Combined with bone dust, you have a very powerful pixie dust indeed. But let's not leave the oft-forgotten moon dust out of the equation. I wouldn't bore you with the details, but suffice it to say, a simple moonstone gem will suffice as fully as a chunk of moon itself. Combine crushed moonstone with stardust to create a fine pixie dust. Interesting. Now we've got a play here called Cyseal's Genesis. I'm sure pixie dust and moon dust will be important for crafting scrolls, I'm guessing. Let's read Cyseal's Genesis, a play. This excerpt from the traditional drama Genesis of Cyseal is commonly performed in the local theater. Most Cysealians, and even a few foreigners, are amply familiar with the tale and refuse to tolerate deviations from the script, most known by heart. Deviations, sorry. The story goes that two adventurers, lovers too, Cyrus and Celia, I see what they did there, sailed west from Ferrol, knowing not whether they would find land on the other side. They took with them sufficient provisions for 5 months of travel, but only during the last week of 6th month did they land upon the land that they would come to call Cyseal. Celia: enough, Cyrus. I can't take another moment aboard this death barge. I'm starving and I'm sick. Will we find no safe refuge from our travels? Cyrus: my gods, could it be? There, look. Celia: what is it? Are we out of fresh water? Is there a leak in the hull? Cyrus: look. Seal: there, beyond the mist, it's... Celia: land. Cyrus: land, my sweet, land at last, and we shall call it Cyseal. We have updated our log. Let me filter by completed. There we go. We found a play based on the founding of Cyseal. Maybe we can put it to good use. Okay, interesting. We've got He Who Smelts It, Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3. He Who Smelts It, Volume 1. The quality of a proper sword has quite declined in recent decades. Some blame a change in climate, others a change in the type and origin of iron reserves. I myself craft my own supplies from an iron bar and an anvil to ensure the maximum character of the weapon. Ooh, we got the recipe for a homemade sword. He Who Smelts It, Volume 2. Quite a good deal of extra income can be earned by forging and selling one's own unique brand of axes. Crafting experience naturally produces better results, but of course, it's becoming increasingly difficult to compete with the low-price guild-run shops can offer. Oh no, monopolies exist in this world as well? He Who Smelts It, Volume 3. Rumor has it that orcsmiths make their great axes with 2 pieces of steel. Most men couldn't carry such a large weapon, let alone swing it, so few attempts the forging process. 2-handed swords can be crafted in a similar manner, using twin pieces of iron instead of steel. A sword as long as a man is high. It takes quite the broadsword to wield such a thing. Broadsword. Getting all jumbled up. I actually clicked on this book by accident earlier, so I have received the crafting recipes for the axe and sword. Got Fun with Fluids Volume 2 and Volume 4. Fun with Fluids. If you've ever tried consuming a Gupina mushroom, you know full well the manner of effect it will have. Most Rivolonian mushrooms have some sort of effect on the human body, and their essence can be squeezed into potions to enhance their effects. Combining mushrooms-based potions has similar effect. A fire resistance potion. Interesting. Fun with fluids. Drudani's qualities are many and well documented. I think I have one of those in my inventory. For an adventure, it isn't wise to consume in the thick of battle, though recreational use is widely accepted among liberal circles. Knowledge significantly less widely spread, however, is that Drudani is best consumed from within a flask, as a bottling process often brings out its finest features. Oh, that is a poison resistance. I wonder where I should store all these books. I wonder if this game like saves the storage. Like if I find a crate somewhere and I put all my books in it, I wonder if those books will stay there. Cracking up a crowd, the definitive guide. This one I could actually use for myself in real life. Much like making love, comedy requires equal parts passion and delivery. Where's the part about communication? Fever for the stage is not enough. No. Oh, sorry, fervor. No, fever. The truly successful comedian will study the details of the craft through countless long, lonely nights in preparation for his rendezvous with the audience. Compiled within this volume are some of Rivellon's finest funnies, enough to make a granite statue grin. Interesting. I wonder if we're going to need this for those talking statues. During a dwarven funeral, the bearers of the casket accidentally bump into a wall and hear a faint moan. They open the casket and find out that the dwarven woman inside is actually alive. The entire funeral party rejoices, and a joyful tear springs from her husband's eye. The dwarven lady lives 10 more years and then dies. There's another funeral for her. At the end of the service, the bearers carry out the casket. As they're walking out, the husband cries out, "Watch for the wall." Ha ha ha. It's funny because he hates his wife. It's funny that they were doing this type of comedy back then as well in Sicil. Modern boomer comedians make the same kind of jokes. They get up on the stage and they're like, "I hate my wife." An elf and an orc show up in Hall of Echoes at the same time. The orc says he froze to death, and the elf says he died of a heart attack. "How did that happen?" says the orc. The elf replied, "Well, I came home and thought I heard my wife in bed with someone else, but when I searched the house, I couldn't find anyone. I was so stricken with remorse for wrongly accusing my wife of infidelity, I had a heart attack and died on the spot." "Geez," said the orc, "if you had opened the icebox, we'd both be alive right now." That's funny. Another joke at the expense of a wife. Every 10 years, the elven wood priests in the high monastery are allowed to break their vow of silence to speak 2 words. 10 years go by, and it's one priest's first chance. He thinks for a second before saying, "Food bad." 10 years later, he says, "Bed hard." The big day a decade later, he gives the head priest a long stare and says, "I quit." "I'm not surprised," the elven high priest says. "You've been complaining ever since you got here." I feel like Jerry Springer's audience would love that. Not Jerry Springer, Jerry Seinfeld. Jerry Springer is a much more nuanced comedian. And then we have the Universal Controller Instructions Manual. This one might not be interesting, but this might be important. Welcome to the Arhu Sparkmaster 5000 Universal Controller Instruction Manual. With the Universal Controller in hand, you can give your beloved weapon of mass destruction various commands. Here are some of our customers' favorites. Angry, happy, angry. Vent steam. Angry, angry, sleepy. Discharge electricity. Sleepy, sleepy, happy. Weapons deactivated. Angry, angry, angry. Universal controller deactivated. Happy, happy, happy. Party time. Woohoo. Have fun. This is probably going to be very important for when we actually go and fight the automatron. So let's put all of the books that we're not going to need to read again into Evelyn's bag. So I still play we might need. But the crafting stuff, I don't think we do. I just had to check that I had actually clicked record on this video. Philosophy of Death, I think we're done with. Evelyn's Diary. We'll keep it, but I don't think we need it. Now, all in all, that didn't take much time at all, so if you don't mind, I'm going to investigate some crafting real quick. Let's put our team back together. I know, for example, that Jahan has a mortar and pestle. And we have been collecting bones, so. It says ingredient, but can also be ground into dust. Might need it for something else. Nice. Now, we have a hammer and anvil, so we also have one iron bar. I want to go back to the blacksmith. Or the foundry, I guess is what you'd call it. And I want to see if I can like reinforce my weapons or something like that. Going over here. I wonder if crafted weapons will outperform the weapons that we already have. And then once we look at that, I think it's a perfect time to end this little episode. Let's go to this. And let me switch to Django. I'm a little bit nervous. I don't want to destroy my weapon. And in fact, I can't even put my weapon onto the anvil, so I mean, I could put this sharp fighting knife, see what happens. Yeah, I need a blacksmithing ability, so I know Dango has that. Let's give this to Dango. So it upgraded the item, so it does a little bit more damage now. Actually, it's way better than the daggers that I have. Wonder if I can upgrade the dagger. Oh, it specifically needs to be a knife, huh? Alright. Fair. You know, I think I sold a lot of the common weapons that I found, and maybe that was a mistake. And it looks like you can't interact with weapons of a higher rarity. What about the ceremonial two-handed sword? Oh, alright. Oh, we can also create... I think we can create dough with a bucket of water and Flour? Do we have flour? I thought we did. I'm not seeing it now though. Wonder if one of my other characters has it for some reason. No, you know what? It's probably in Mochi's bag where I put all of our food. Yeah, I actually have a ton of food in here. I also have mushrooms, which I know we can turn into potions. So let's give the mushrooms to Jahan. And I mean, maybe we could turn this wheat into flour with the mortar and pestle. But we also do have proper flour. Let's try that out. So maybe something like this can work. Yep, that makes sense. Now I believe if we put this wheat and water together, we can make some dough. All right, we are cooking here. That being said, we're out of water. So, go find a well. Yeah, there's one over here. Now I believe that we can make a fish pie. So maybe I'll just give red snappers to Jahan. Chubs. Jahan, you can click on this. Whoa, whoa. Come back, come back, come back. Jahan. You should still have the bucket, right? Yeah. Right, incredible. Go like this. We'll put that there. Let's just put all this stuff in his bag real quick. Let's try doing dough and this chub. We have fish pie dough. Okay. We need to cook that, I'm guessing. We're gonna need like an oven or something. Or maybe just a fire. A little laborious to have to get the water every time. That's okay. Excited to see what we can make food-wise. And to see if it's worth all the trouble or if it's just a very small buff. In some games, food is, sorry, what am I doing here? Did I just equip the bucket because I wasn't paying attention? I mean, I think I might have. No. Am I losing my mind? I'm wearing the bucket as a helmet. That's cool. I didn't know you could do that. Now, where did my actual helmet go? What I had on? I guess so. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah. I'm curious to see if the food is worth the effort or not. Either way, I'm just happy to have crafting in the game. I love crafting. So before we make any more doughs, We'll find a place we can cook. I'm trying to think. I wonder if the inn would have something. I can't click on that fire. Okay. Maybe not the inn. Do a little scope around town. Guess I'm looking for some kind of oven, or maybe even a campfire will do. I think there's a campfire in the barracks, right? Yeah, I think, yeah, actually. There is. This might be what we need to cook. I think the recipe book said that we can also do dough and like cheese, or dough and tomato. Sorry guys. Oh, they also said apple, huh? A lot of options here. They also have milk. Oh, we cannot use the mobile kitchen. But can we use this? No. Interesting, eh? Using that mobile kitchen is considered a crime. Oh, there's another well back here. And, wait a sec, a fish rack. I don't think I've ever seen. Why not? Ooh, that's what we need for crafting a bow. Just go over here. Make sure that we have the water on hand. Maybe we'll just have to find an area to cook on our travels. So, if that's the case, I will bring ourselves over here to the west gate, and I'm going to end this little reading and crafting episode. And next time you guys see me, I will be adventuring into the wilds, which I'm very excited for. Anyways, thank you so much for coming along to this little episode, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.